Long ago, in a quiet village called Umwagu, the people lived peacefully. The land was fertile, the rivers were full of fish, and the villagers worked together like one family. But at the edge of the village stood a dark forest that many people feared. Inside that forest was a strange tree that the villagers later called the Crying Tree. The story of that tree began many years ago with a young woman named Adis. Adis, the lonely woman. Adis was a beautiful and quiet woman who lived alone in a small hut in the village. Her parents had died when she was young, and she had no family left. Even though she was kind and hardworking, some villagers did not trust her. Whenever something bad happened, people began to whisper her name. If crops failed, they blamed Adis. If a child fell sick, they blamed Adis. Fear slowly turned the villagers against her. Adis did not understand why people hated her. She often cried at night, praying that the villagers would see that she was innocent. The night everything changed. One evening, a young boy in the village suddenly became very sick. His mother cried loudly and called for help. Soon, villagers gathered in the village square carrying torches. Fear filled the air. One man shouted angrily, "It must be Adis. She is the witch responsible." The angry crowd agreed. Before Adis could defend herself, the villagers dragged her from her house and brought her to the village square. She cried and begged them, "Please, I have done nothing wrong." But the villagers were blinded by fear and anger. The elders made a terrible decision. They would take Adis into the forest and tie her to a tree so her evil spirit could never harm the village again. Abandoned in the forest. That night, the villagers took Adis deep into the forest. They tied her tightly to a young tree. The forest was dark and cold. Adis cried and begged the villagers not to leave her there. "Please don't leave me here. I am innocent." But the villagers turned their backs and walked away. Adis cried throughout the night. Her voice echoed through the silent forest. But no one came to help her. By morning, Adis had died. The birth of the Crying Tree. Something strange happened after Adis died. The small tree she had been tied to began to grow in a twisted and frightening shape. Its branches stretched like arms reaching out for help. Drops of water slowly rolled down its trunk like tears. That night, the villagers heard a strange sound coming from the forest. It was the sound of a woman crying, "Help me, please help me." The villagers became terrified. From that day, they called the tree the Crying Tree. The spirit that could not rest. Years passed, but the crying never stopped. Some villagers claimed they saw the ghost of Adis standing beside the tree. Others heard footsteps behind them when they walked near the forest. Anyone who went too close to the tree at night returned frightened, or never returned at all. The villagers learned to stay far away from that part of the forest. The brave hunter. One day, a hunter named Okoro came to the village. He was strong, proud, and fearless. When the villagers told him the story of the Crying Tree, he laughed. "Ghost stories are for children," he said. The elders warned him. "No one who goes near that tree at midnight returns the same." But Okoro refused to believe them. "I will go tonight and prove the story is a lie." The night of terror. At midnight, Okoro carried a lantern and walked into the forest. The deeper he walked, the quieter the forest became. Soon he reached the twisted tree. Suddenly, the lantern light flickered. The air became cold. Then he heard it. "Help me." The tree began to shake slowly. Water dripped down its trunk like tears. Okoro turned around. Standing behind him was a pale woman with long hair covering her face. It was Adis. Her eyes were dark and empty. She whispered softly, "You came back." Okoro screamed. His lantern fell to the ground. Darkness filled the forest. The morning after. The next morning, villagers followed the sound of Okoro's scream into the forest. They found him lying on the ground beside the tree. He was dead. His face was frozen in pure terror. The villagers knew then that the spirit of Adi still haunted the tree. Until today. Even today, the people of Umwogo avoid the forest. No one goes near the crying tree. And on very quiet nights, when the wind stops blowing, a lonely voice can still be heard in the darkness, loudly crying, "Face, help me." Some say Adi's spirit is still trapped inside the tree, waiting for someone brave enough to finally set her free.